Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session. Today, we are going to talk about the tool called Vagrant, why exactly it is so popular, why do we use it, and what makes it so popular, right? So, with that, let's get started. As you can see, I am on the official homepage of a Vagrant tool, which is vagrantup.com. If you come on this page, so what exactly is Vagrant if you want to understand? So, Vagrant provides you a unified workflow which is simple and powerful. It helps you in creating a very consistent environment, whether it is a production environment or it is a dev environment or if it is a test environment. It gives you a cross-platform capability to work with your application, and you can create a very good development environment and cross-platform environment which will work seamlessly whether you are on a Mac OS or whether you are on Linux or if you're on a Windows machine. It will not make a difference, right? Vagrant works on your local system with the tools that you are already familiar with. So that is the main power of working with Vagrant, right? So, and on this main page, you will find a lot of information. You have get started section, and you have this section about the documentation. If you click on this link called docs, this will take you to the main documentation page for Vagrant, and uh, yeah, this is the page which you can take a look at when you want to work with Vagrant. But for now, we don't need to do take a look at all these things. We can just go ahead with the standard things. And I have a small documentation which talks about what exactly are the things needed when you want to work with Vagrant, the bare minimum requirement to make your Vagrant lab up and running. Okay, so in order to install and work with Vagrant, you need to have a VirtualBox installed beforehand. Now, VirtualBox is a provider for Vagrant. Apart from VirtualBox, you can have AWS as a provider. You can have VMware Workstation as a provider. You can have Hyper-V as a provider. You have multiple options, right? We are working with VirtualBox for mainly for the reason that it's free of cost. It's very lightweight on your laptop or on your machine, and it is a default provider for Vagrant. If you install VirtualBox and if you work with VirtualBox for Vagrant provider, you don't need to have any special instructions or any additional configuration to be done, right? So the first thing which you need to do is you need to go ahead to this link. This is the page for VirtualBox, and if you see here, we have you can download and install VirtualBox on Windows machines, on OS X, which is your MacBook, or any of the Linux distributions that can be on Ubuntu or CentOS. So most of the major platforms are supported if you want to work with VirtualBox, and the same goes with Vagrant. If you're working with Vagrant, and if you click on if you go to the download section, if you see here, you have the Vagrant software available for Windows as well as Debian, CentOS, macOS. So all the major client-side operating systems are supported here, right? So based on which operating system you are on, you just go ahead and download the VirtualBox and Vagrant, and make sure just keep in mind that you take care of this sequence. Make sure you install VirtualBox first and then Vagrant. Because if you don't do that, there might be some complications in your environment. So always follow these instructions and always follow this sequence, right? So let's say in my environment on my MacBook, I have VirtualBox installed and I have Vagrant installation completed. So now what you need to do is you need to go to your command prompt. So I've opened my terminal window, and let's create a directory which we will work as a Vagrant documentation as a Vagrant machine. So we will create a new directory. It can be, let's say, Vagrant node, or let's make it vtest node. Hit enter. As of now, okay, first we need to go inside. And if you see here, we don't have anything inside. As of now, this folder is empty. A quick way to check whether Vagrant is available on your machine or not is to do with this Vagrant -v command, which gives you this version. As long as you're getting any version, you are good to go with. Right? It can be 1.9, it can be 1.8, 1.7. If you look at the main Vagrant page, if you go to the home page, you'll see 1.9.5 is the current version. So if you're downloading and installing now, this is the version typically you should get. Again, as I said, version is not exactly very important as long as you're getting some version here. So I have 1.9.3, which is a little bit older. It's not exactly the latest one, but it will undo for us, not a problem. So the first command which you need to run with Vagrant, so you go inside the folder and you do a Vagrant init. This initializes a Vagrant file inside your folder in which you are working. So if you do this, you get this option, which is, and it gives you this message which says that Vagrant file has been placed in this directory, and you're now ready to do a Vagrant up, which will bring up your machine. But before we do that, we need to make a couple of changes inside our Vagrant file. So let's just expand it a little bit, and let's cat this Vagrant file to look at the content inside. And if you see here, we have a number of configuration, and everything is commented out, which means it gives you a template to understand what exactly you can achieve with Vagrant file. The only thing which is uncommented is this line, config.vm.box, which is base. Box is something which is very similar to templates in VMware, or images in Docker, or if you have worked with AWS, the Amazon machine images, or AMIs, right? So the same way you have boxes in Vagrant, which is nothing but a pre-configured images from which you can clone new virtual machines, and you get all the configuration ready-made for your new machines, right? And then you can just build upon that. So you don't have to install an OS, you don't have to install the standard configurations. Everything you can do, and then you can create a box out of it, so that every time when you want to create a new machine out of it, you have all these things pre-configured for you, whether it is your operating system, or if it is your packages, or if it is your users. Everything you get beforehand, right? Out of the box instructions. Now, I need to edit a couple of things here. This is not the Vagrant file which is going to work for me. So I need to make some changes. What I need to do is I need to have a proper box to be installed on my machine for this Vagrant file. So how do I get that? There are two ways actually. First, let me show you the command which will tell me which are the boxes already available on my machine. So if I do a Vagrant box list, it lists all the boxes which are already available, right? Where to get the list of these boxes, right? Where to find this, the names of these boxes. If you see here, we have this option called Find Boxes. You click on this link. It will take you to the page where you can download the boxes. You can search for a box of your choice, and once you're confident, you can just go ahead and download that box. How you can do that? That's again very straightforward. Let's say I want to search with a box which has Nginx already installed and configured. So if you see here, I'm getting a number of options here. Let's say I want to work with this box. So I just click on this one, and this is the name I want to use, right? So in my case, I don't need this. This was just to show a demo for you. So let me just go back, right? So this was the main page where I came. And if you see here, I have this CentOS 7 which I can utilize, or I can use this HashiCorp Prezi32, which is a 32-bit Ubuntu image, 12.04, as you can see. So in my case, I have a couple of boxes already configured and downloaded for me. So what I will do, I'll use any one of them, the existing ones. I'll just click on the first box. I'll just copy this. And then I need to edit my Vagrant file, right? And what I need to edit is the box name. Instead of base, I'll remove the base part and I'll put that name which I have just copied, right? Which is again taken from the Atlas HashiCorp box page, which is the Vagrant cloud for all your boxes. Another important change which I need to do is with the host name. So if you don't do this, every new box, every new virtual machine from this box will contain the same host name, which might create conflict. You don't want to do that, right? You want to have your host name configured on your boxes or on your Vagrant machines. So for that, I'll just change this name. What I will do as a best practice, I'll keep this name same as my folder name in which I have my Vagrant machine or Vagrant initialized, right? So I'll stick this, save this file, come out of it. Now I'm ready to do a Vagrant up, which will bring up my virtual machine. On the console window, you will get some very important messages. If you see here, it tells you that it is importing basebox from bento/ubuntu 16.04, which is the box name which we had provided. Now, one important thing to remember is that it will download the box only if it is not available locally. In my case, this box is already available on my machine, so it does not need to download it. So that is the reason it went ahead and simply imported the details from that base box and creating the machine on top of it. Then it gives you the messages with regards to the adapter, forwarding the ports, right? Where it has the 22 port, which is for SSH. It has been mapped to port 2203 on the host, which is my MacBook. So if I want to use a PuTTY session, I need to use this address if you see here, right? By default, any Vagrant machine which you create, the username will be Vagrant, all small, and password will also be Vagrant, all in lowercase. Okay, so I have this machine created. If you see here, I have everything ready, and it tells me that machine is here. Vagrant insecure key detected. Everything is done. Machine booted and ready. So now, if I go ahead and give this command as Vagrant SSH, it will take me inside my machine. And if you look at the command prompt, which you see on a screen now, it will change. So earlier, this was the prompt, which is on my laptop. I'm a user SK12K, and the folder where I am is vtestnode. And then now I am inside Vagrant machine. And if you remember, the host name which I had provided was the same name as the folder name. I can cross-verify that by giving this command, vtestnode. And this is a MacBook on which I am recording this video. However, if I give a Linux command, I will be able to get the information, which tells me that this is a 64-bit Ubuntu machine, which is exactly it is because I have used this bento Ubuntu image. And as the name suggests, this is a Ubuntu 16.04 machine, right? So I have a full-fledged machine now at my disposal right on my MacBook, which I can work with. It is completely isolated from my host or from my laptop. Whatever changes I make over here does not affect at all on my laptop, and whatever changes I'm going to do on my laptop is not going to affect this machine at all, right? Now, just like any other machine, if you have done SSH, if you want to come out of the machine, you just need to type exit. So now again, I am on my laptop, which is my MacBook. And if I want to check the status of the machine, so I just need to give this command called Vagrant status, which tells me that the machine is up and running, and VirtualBox is the provider for this machine. Okay, and as you can see on the screen, if I want to stop this virtual machine, I just need to use this Vagrant halt command, which will stop the machine. So I can just test it out, Vagrant halt. And remember guys, if you have noticed, whatever command I'm running, I'm not giving any references to which machine it should work with, because I am in that folder and I have a corresponding Vagrant file to work with, right? So that is the reason I don't need to give any machine name or any kind of ID to provide with, right? Because I'm inside the Vagrant folder where my machine has been created, right? So now that halt operation has been completed, and if I check the status again, as you can see, it has been powered off. And in order to bring the machine back up once again, I just need to use this Vagrant up command. And then I can do a Vagrant SSH inside this. If I try to do it now, it should throw me an error message saying that you cannot go inside a machine. You cannot SSH into a machine which is not running, right? So I need to first run Vagrant up and then Vagrant SSH to go into the machine. So that is how you set up your lab in Vagrant, and you work with Vagrant. And this way it becomes very convenient and very easy, and you can see, right, how easy it is to create and delete and remove all the virtual machines, right? It's just a couple of commands, and you do a Vagrant up. Within a minute or two, you have a machine ready. You want to delete the machine, you just do a Vagrant halt. It will stop the machine. You want to delete it, you can do a Vagrant destroy, right? So that's the power of Vagrant, which you can utilize when you're working in your development environment, right? So that's it for this session. We will continue in the next session. We'll talk about some of the important commands about Vagrant and how we can leverage the other things, other features of Vagrant at our disposal. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.